Who's want to start? Today is Monday, the 24th of July, 2017. My name is Michael Klein, and I'm here at the Scott residence in Mount Hope. Beautiful, beautiful summer day. And maybe we could get you to say, my name is, and tell us your name.
My name is Howard A. Scott.
And your date of birth, please.
I was born on May the 22nd, 1937. I just celebrated my 80th birthday.
Happy birthday. And many happy returns.
Thank you.
If you would please, start out and tell us about your people and where you were raised.
I was raised here in Mount Hope. Probably not at this location, but in Mount Hope. We own a little house on the hill up in a little place they call Kessler Hollow. And I was born and raised in that house, and I lived there until 1956. After I graduated from high school, I joined the United States Air Force. The house is still standing, but no one's in it.
Okay. Well, I have to hold this mic in the right place, so they're going to keep bothering us anyway. Here we are. Talk about that. What life was like for you growing up on the hill, if you would. Just everything you can remember.
It was.
Paint us some pictures.
Well, I'm trying not to be long, but my father was killed in the coal mines when I was 4 years old. I've had 9 sisters, not all at the same time. My mother had a couple of marriages, but I was raised with 3 sisters. All the other sisters were older and off in the city and tried to help a little bit, but my mother and 3 sisters was raised at this address in Kessler Hollow. We were considered to be very poor. Well, at that time they had a little Social Security, which wasn't much, and they didn't have the black lung, they didn't have all the other benefits, so we were on the welfare programs where they gave you cheese and beef in a can, which fortunately I loved. Rice I couldn't stand, where they gave us a whole lot of that. So I was raised pretty thin because I didn't eat a lot because I couldn't stand the rice. Don't eat rice and butter today. And those were 2 of the staples that they gave you all the time. When they gave you the beef was when I really enjoyed life. To make a breakfast, I was short. But my mother survived. I mean, we made it. She made sure we went to school. We didn't, when I was 14 years old, I got a young lady in a typing class. I went over to Fayetteville and got a birth certificate, and I got a young lady in a typing class to fix my birth certificate to say that I was 16 years old. With that, I went to Cleveland, Ohio, and got a job working on a soda foundry. The man knew I had a fixed birth certificate, but he liked me. And he kept telling me, as soon as the report come back, I know I'm going to have to fire you because you're too young. But he never did. He let me work the whole summer. And that's how I bought my school clothes. I worked one summer, I did this for 3 summers, and one summer I put a roof on my mother's house with the money that I had made, which back in that day was pretty good because we didn't have anything. I'm serious. We really didn't. And the little bit that I did accomplish there. And the last year that I worked for her, believe it or not, I bought me an old car. Didn't have a driver's license, but I bought a car and drove it from Cleveland. I only wrecked it twice on the way back, but I did get it back. And believe it or not, when I was going to DuBois High School, I was one of 4 people in the school who had a car. 3 teachers and me. You know, I've had teachers stand by my car when I got my uncle in particular, who was the football coach. He was just as poor as I was. But he'd stand by and wait till I got out of school to ride uptown to get a ride. I'm serious. Didn't have a driver's license. Drove for 3 years without a driver's license. When I turned 16, I went to get a driver's license. I got my permit. I got a guy that went through the procedures with me. This is the truth. I'm telling you the truth. But the day before I went to take my test, I got stopped by the police. I'd never been stopped before. And had a $27 fine that I couldn't pay. And all my uncle and all the people that had been riding with me, I couldn't get the money from none of them. They didn't have the money to let me have it. I had to call one of my sisters in Cleveland, and she mailed me the $27. Late, but they accepted it to pay my fine. I still went and took my driver's test, and then I was in all heaven. But I was one of the few kids in class. In school, that's where everybody thought I had something because I was driving. I remember the times, and this is the truth, when me and my cousins and my friends would pool our money together, get about $1 worth of gas, but that's about a half a tank. I mean, that's pretty good gas money. You put a $2 in there, you ride all week. Because gas is only 15, 16 cents a gallon. Those were the days. But anyway, after I finished, got out of high school.
Before we get you out of high school,
Okay.
I need to have you in high school a little longer. Maybe, but before even the school, tell us a little more about your neighbors and your associates up on in Kessler Holler there. What kind of community?
Believe it or not, it was mostly family. My mother and my sisters and I lived up on a little hill. From the hill was my grandmother. Across the street was her daughter, which was my aunt, and my first cousins. My first cousin, one of them, well, I was raised with all of them, but 2 of them were my age, the son and daughter. As a matter of fact, the son, you may have seen riding up downtown in a wheelchair. That's my first cousin. He's been incapacitated and he's in a wheelchair and he's all over town anymore. But we were raised together, went off in the service, separated. We both come back here, but we were all raised right there in that little pot together. We all went to high school. I have to brag on my high school. We didn't have a lot in high school, but I really thought that they taught us the fundamentals. I really thought that. We knew current events. I heard my wife talking about newspapers. Our teachers, we didn't have that in my home. Our teachers brought that to school so we could read about what people were doing, and mostly black people. Because we didn't know what people were doing in the cities. We had no clue, you know. Entertainers, and every now and then, 1 or 2 of the entertainers come through here. We had a little armory down from this church down there that they used to have, I heard her say Salad Spring, which I don't know if you've ever heard of Salad Spring, but that's a performance that they come out and it would be degrading now because they come out and act like poor black people. But we used to get a kick out of it. It was really funny. They just said and done things that was absolutely hilarious. You know, and then they had
these were African American performers.
Yes.
They were.
I remember the time that Count Basie showed up down there. Yeah, they had some pretty good entertainers. I can't think of their names now, but we had several of them come down. And believe it or not, my sisters, older sisters, was into this, and when they'd come to town, they'd take us, if we got a chance to see something like that, they'd take us, otherwise we didn't get to see it. But the high school, I loved it. In fact, when I graduated, I cried. It's the first time I cried in school because I really knew that I was going to miss high school. I was a teacher's pet. I used to cash the teachers' checks. They trusted, well, I had a car. They trusted me, you know, and I didn't go through that, but when I was born, my daddy, they called him Big Red. And our neighbor, which was not across the street, was up the hill a little further, was a white family, and his name was Ray. They had two sons, me and Ray's son. When we were born, they called me Baby Red, and they called him Baby Ray. And we were together all the time. We were born about the same time. I've heard my wife tell you that they had the segregated movies. We couldn't sit downstairs, but we'd go upstairs where they allowed us to sit, and he sat in the white section, but only thing that separated was the aisle where the black section. We sat across from each other. We did everything together, but yeah, it was like that. It really was. But I lost my train of thought. But in high school, like I said, I was like a teacher's pet. I got to do a lot of things because I had a car, which is really funny. No driver's license, they didn't know that.